Hare Krishna. So, welcome everyone to our today's discussion on fascinating Mahabharata character series. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yera Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shavasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, welcome everyone. We are discussing about the wonderful life of Draupadi. And last time we discussed how Draupadi, she was born of Yagya. That's why she was called as Yagya Seni. And her father, Drupada, he desired a daughter who could marry Arjuna. And that's why he arranged the Swayamvar ceremony in such a way that only a qualified person like Arjuna or Arjuna himself could, just qualify for getting Draupadi in marriage. And ultimately, Draupadi got married to all the five Pandavas. And then we saw that Pandavas, they made a wonderful palace of Indraprastha and a very wonderful assembly house. And Duryodhan, was he when he entered that this palace, this assembly, he was not able to understand where is water and where is glass, and he fell down in water. Draupadi, she smiled seeing this situation, and Duryodhan, he felt so very insulted. And seeing the opulence of Pandavas, Duryodhan, he became so very envious. He went and told his father Dhritarashtra a plan. So he wanted to call Yudhishthir for gambling match, and he was thinking that in that gambling match he will take away everything from Pandavas. And Dhritarashtra, because he also wanted his son to become the king, so he also agreed to this plan. And ultimately, all the Pandavas came, and and Yudhishthir, because he was not very expert in gambling, he lost everything. And then ultimately he lost himself, his four brothers, and ultimately Draupadi also. And we discussed how Draupadi, when she was lost, Duryodhan immediately he ordered one of his soldiers to go and get Draupadi in the assembly. Draupadi, she tried her best, but ultimately she was dragged in the assembly by Dushashan. And then she pleaded with the assembly. How is it that when Yudhishthir lost himself first, how could he gamble me? Ultimately, nobody could answer. Then Vikarna, he got up and he gave very wonderful reasons why Draupadi, she cannot be considered as a person who was lost in the gambling, because Yudhishthir, he lost himself first. That's what we discussed last time. And when everybody, entire assembly heard this, wonderful speech of Vikarna, they applauded. Karna, he got up and he raised his hands and he said very loudly, he told, silence, silence. So now we'll see how Karna is at his worst here. He said, I have seen so many inappropriate things in this assembly, and the speech of Vikarna is one of them. He said, O Vikarna, there are many elders here and nobody is opposing. Who are you to oppose? And he said, I will clarify that there is no, uh, you know, unfair means which are used in this gambling match. He said Yudhishthir, he was always free. He could have walked off any time. Nobody told him to gamble Draupadi. Nobody forced him. It was a fair match. And actually, Pandavas, they came on their own. And Pandavas, when they heard this, they were incensed. They became so very angry. Actually, Karna, he he was insulted. He felt insulted when he could not win the hand of Draupadi in her Swayamvar. And he wanted to take the revenge. He wanted to get back to Draupadi at this time. He wanted to take full revenge of the insult. So he started, insulting Draupadi. He said, "This lady, she already has five husbands. What type of chaste woman will have five husbands? She's like a prostitute." It's the most heinous insult which somebody can do to a woman. He's calling her a prostitute. He said, "And Draupadi, she has been won now. So she should do whatever we say. And therefore, what she should do? We should actually disrobe her. And Pandava should also be disrobed. They should remove their royal robes and they should behave like servants." Here, Karna is a classic example of a person who gets degraded by by the association. Karna was not such a bad person. We had discussed about Karna earlier also. He got he went to such a low level just to please his friend Duryodhan. As it is said that a rusty nail kept near a faithful compass can sway even an argosy. Argosy is a huge ship. So therefore, if even a small nail is kept near a compass, the whole direction of ship can change. So therefore, we have to be really careful how we are associating, with whom we are associating. And therefore, we have to understand what are the principles of association. In association, six things are generally done. We invite somebody to, take part in our, we go and go to a restaurant and invite others also to come and dine with us. We also go and take part in the party there. We reveal our heart. We hear from them in, confidence. Dadati pratigrahanati guhyam akhyati pritchati bhunkte bhojayate chaiva. These are the six principles of association. So in association, it is not just the exchange of sharing of things. In the association, it starts with sharing of things, then sharing of meals, and then sharing of thoughts. So this is how we get influenced in association. This is Association is not just physical, proximity. It is the exchange of belief systems. When we associate with somebody constantly, get we start, you know, getting influenced by the belief system of the other person. So therefore, it is very very important to know whom we should associate with. Karna, because he associated with Duryodhan, he got completely, distracted, completely overcome by the bad association. And later, actually, Karna he tells Krishna when Krishna comes to meet Karna after this Shanti Doot. Krishna came as Shanti Doot, and he went and met Karna there. Karna, he told, actually, I regret because I spoke those words about Draupadi. But actually, I just wanted to please Duryodhan. That's why I said all that. When Entire assembly heard these words from Karna. They were completely agonized. Pandavas, they slowly removed their royal robes and they removed their upper cloth. Duryodhan, he was so very happy to see all this. He was nodding in approval, and he just wanted to show his power, and now Draupadi was his tool to show his power. In this world, when people they become greedy for name, fame, prestige, respect, position, wealth, they don't even mind using other people. As it is said, things are meant to be used and people are meant to be loved. But in this world, many times it is the other way around. Just to acquire things of the world, we start using and abusing people. Therefore, it is said that if you want to know how rich you are, ask, count how many things you have which money cannot buy. So, therefore, it is very, very important to understand that when as long as greed is stronger than the compassion, there will be suffering in the world. People will suffer. So, therefore, Karna he told Duryodhan, this Duryodhan, he told Dushashan, he said, Dushashan, you go and you disrobe Draupadi. Dushashan marched and started pulling the sari of Draupadi. She was wearing a single cloth. Draupadi, she held her sari very desperately with all her strength. She was trying to, just move Dushashan aside. But Dushashan, he was very, very powerful. He had the strength of 10,000 elephants, and Draupadi was no match to his strength. He kept pulling. Draupadi, she saw herself getting unclothed. It was a desperate situation. She was completely horrified. In dismay, in horror, she looked at her five husbands, fervently begging for help. But the husbands could not do anything. Bhima, he could not tolerate. He got up, he roared. He said, "O Duryodhan, many kings in the past, they have, gambled their servants. In gambling match, it has happened. But nobody has treated them like this." He becomes so very angry. He says, "Oh Sahadev, get fire. I will burn the hands of Yudhishthir." You know, he becomes so angry with Yudhishthir because Yudhishthir was the one who gambled Draupadi. Arjuna, he got up and he says, "Oh Bhima, why are you speaking like this? How can you speak like this? You know that the Yudhishthir, he was following the advice of the elders. He is always on the path of dharma. He has never done anything against dharmic principles. For sure, you should understand that this will bring good in future." And he says, by this behavior, you are giving joy to your opponents. So therefore, please do not do this, O Karna, O Bhima. Bhima, he understood. He agreed. He calmed himself and he said, "Oh brother, I think whatever you're saying is right. Actually, I knew this. Otherwise, I would have destroyed Yudhishthir earlier only. I knew that Yudhishthir is very right in his intentions. That's why I am tolerating all this." This is very, very important. In desperate situations, our near ones may speak some harsh words, but we should understand that those words are coming from a distressed heart and they don't actually mean it. So therefore, many times in the peak of emotions, the some harsh words come out. We should not take them seriously. We should understand what this person is going through and try to deal with that person accordingly. We should not go just by the words which the person is speaking. This is very, very important to save relationships in this world, because in this world, many times people, they have so very less tolerance, little patience, very little patience. They can't even understand that what this person is going through. So, therefore, before coming to a conclusion, we should always give a benefit of doubt. Try to find out the whole story, because the every person has a different story. Don't judge people. Everybody has a different story. So, therefore, we have to be really careful before judging anybody, before labeling anybody just on one incidence. We should have the humility to go and ask them what is actually the problem. Generally, because we think I am right, why should I go? Why should go I go and ask them? They are wrong. They should come and ask forgiveness. Actually, the small seeds of ill feelings, if they are not dealt with properly, they will grow and they'll become a huge tree. It is so very easy to remove a small sapling, but it is very difficult to cut down a huge tree. And even if you cut down a huge tree, the roots, they are so very deeply rooted. It is not easy to remove the roots. Therefore, the grudges will be there. So, therefore, we have to uproot the misunderstandings when they are just sprouting. As they say, nip it when it is in the bud. So, therefore, we have to be humble enough and just go and ask them, why are you speaking these words? What is the problem? Pandavas, they suffered so much, but they never had any ill feelings for Yudhishthir. They were always together. Cooperation is very, very important in a family, in society, in any of the institutions. Cooperation is very important. As Srila Prabhupada, he would tell, if you want to please me, cooperate with each other. So therefore, Krishna was pleased with Pandavas because they were so very cooperative. All the Pandavas, five Pandavas, they had different natures, different likings, but still they were together. They never blamed others. They never criticized, others. That's what pleased Krishna. That's what attracted Krishna's mercy. So therefore, when Duryodhan was saying so many things, Bhima, he ultimately accepted and he calmed down. But the problem was still there. Draupadi, she realized that her husbands, they could not help her. Her sari was slipping off her body. And she realized that now only one person can help her. And that was her Lord Krishna. And Draupadi, she was naturally devoted to Krishna. So therefore, instead of now trying to hold her sari, she let go of her sari. She raised her hands very high, cried loudly, "O Keshava, O Madhava, O Govinda, O lover of the gopis, O beloved of the gopis, I am drowning in this ocean of Kauravas. This ocean of Kurus is, making me completely distressful. I'm not able to, come out of this ocean. You are the reliever of the, affliction of your distressed devotees. Please save me, O Janardhan, O Lord of the Creator, please save me." And in this way, she was fervently praying to the Lord. So this is very important. Draupadi is showing by her personal example that in our lives, when things are not going the way we expect, in spite of trying our best, then instead of looking for material solutions, we have to turn to God. We have to turn to Krishna, ask for guidance. Therefore, it is said that when we don't know what to do, you should know what to do. You have to turn to Krishna because Krishna is the ultimate protector. Just like Arjuna, when he was in battlefield, he took shelter of Krishna. So therefore, in when we are now on the journey of spiritual life, at some point of time we have to take the leap of our faith, turn to Krishna fully, and we'll see miracles happening in our lives, just like miracle happened there. What is the greatest miracle which can happen in the life in our lives? That is the miracle of the ability to continue practicing bhakti, practicing devotional service in midst of all the odds. That is the greatest miracle. And therefore, Draupadi is showing by her personal example that when we call out to Krishna desperately, miracle will happen. And therefore, at this time, most glorious thing happened. So this incident shows the most glorious incident and the most inglorious also. Inglorious because Draupadi, she was completely humiliated, and glorious because she proved to the world, she showed the world her unparalleled devotion. Nobody could see what was happening. When Draupadi, she was crying loudly, Krishna was in Dwarka with Rukmini. When he heard Draupadi crying, calling for help, he came running, and nobody could see what happened. Dushashan kept pulling the sari, and there was no end to it. Dushashan, he had so powerful arms. It is said that दो 10,000 गज का ताकत रखने वाला दुशासन 10 गज की साड़ी नहीं खींच पाया ना. That's what they say in Hindi. Dushashan, he had the strength of 10,000 elephants, but still he could not pull sari. He kept pulling. There was a whole pile of sari. Dushashan, he became breathless, and then ultimately he stopped. He was bewildered. He was not able to understand how is this happening. So this is the extraordinary event which shows that dharma always protects virtuous people. Dharmo rakshati dharmaha. If we stick to the principles of dharma, if we take shelter of Krishna, Krishna will protect. Many times we doubt protection of Krishna. What if Lord won't help us? I am trying to turn towards Krishna and I am trying to, leave my material things. What if Krishna does not help me? What will happen? First of all, we have to understand that Krishna is more eager to help us than we are eager to take help of Krishna. We should never ever doubt the protection of Krishna, because Krishna is so very happy when anybody turns towards him. He is so very happy. Therefore, Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita, he is telling Arjuna, "Oh Arjun, you declare boldly, my devotee will never perish. Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati." So, seeing this extraordinary event, all the kings, they lauded the chastity of Draupadi. They were so very, happy, and they were appreciating and glorifying the chaste Draupadi. And they were condemning Shakuni, condemning Duryodhan. Dushashan, he was completely silent. He could not do anything. Draupadi, she had closed her eyes and she was just praying. She did not even realize what happened. And when she opened her eyes and she saw what had happened, she thanked Krishna for saving her honor. But this calamity was gone, passed by. But still, the situation had not changed. Duryodhan, Dushashan, Shakuni, they were still the same. Draupadi looked around to take help of the elders, but still there was no change. Nobody spoke anything. So Draupadi, she was concerned that if such a thing could happen to me, I am the queen, then what will happen to the ordinary ladies of the city? So she was a Shatrani, she was a queen, so she was thinking about the society also. That this is the quality of a great personality. Whenever something bad happens to a person, he thinks, how should I work in such a way that the same thing does not happen to others? People with a crooked mentality, they think, okay, this is how I was treated, I will also treat my subordinates in the same way. But a person who is a genuine, virtuous person, follower of dharma, he or she will make sure that the same thing does not happen to the subordinates. Nobody said anything. Bhima, he could not take it anymore. He stood up. He started roaring. He said, I am taking a vow now which nobody has taken before and nobody will take in the future. He says, this wretched Dusashan, he touched the hair of Draupadi. He tried to disrobe Draupadi. I take a vow. I will break apart the chest and I will drink the blood of Dushashan. The whole assembly erupted in applause. Everybody appreciated this vow of Bhima and they condemned the evil quadrant of Duryodhan, Dushashan, Shakuni, and Karna. Even after all this, there was no change. There is no change in all these cruel, crooked people. Actually, believers of God, they need no reasons to believe in God. And non-believers, they you give all the reasons, but still they will not accept God. Therefore, we have to understand the faith is the currency which is needed to enter the spiritual world. How to develop that faith? That faith comes by associating with those who have faith. You know, that's what is association. Our faith should be based on firm, rational understanding, and of course, at a certain point of time, we have to take a leap of faith. We can understand with our rational intelligence some things, but many things are beyond our rational intelligence. We have to learn, we have to understand Bhagavad Gita, we have to understand the philosophy so that we can develop this rational, reasonable faith. But after a certain point, we have to take a leap of faith and just accept the words of Bhagavad Gita. Karna, he got up again. He said, this lady Draupadi, she is a servant woman. She should stay in servant quarters. Oh, Dushashan, just take her. Dushashan again got up. He started dragging Draupadi again. Draupadi, she somehow freed herself, went in front of the elderly assembly, and with folded hands, she started pleading. Have I been won in the gambling? I am born of sacrifice. I am Yajna Seni. I am the wife of the most virtuous soul Yudhishthir. Have I become maidservant now? Please answer my question. Tell me what is virtue? Everyone was silent. Nobody could say anything. Bhishma again, he got up and he appreciated the virtuous quality of Draupadi. He said, Draupadi, in spite of all these odds, the fact that you are asking about dharma shows your glorious character. All these Pandavas, they are, still on the path of virtue. That shows their glorious character. They will surely become victorious. All these Kauravas headed by Duryodhan, they are on the path of greed and folly. For sure, they will get defeated. They'll be destroyed by their evil actions. But Draupadi, I am not able to understand how to answer your question. He said, Yudhishthir, I think he should answer this, your question. Everybody looked at Yudhishthir. Yudhishthir could not speak anything. Draupadi, she said, but he was compelled to gamble. She was always on the side of her husbands. She never blamed any of her husbands. That is a wonderful quality of Draupadi. She never questioned the integrity. She never questioned the intentions of Pandavas. In our relationships, we may clarify things, but we should never question the intentions of our well wishers. Because most of the time, they are not wrong. They had good intentions, but the way things are spoken, they are misinterpreted. So therefore, just like Draupadi, she was again and again, was very strong. She had full trust in Pandavas. So therefore, if we want to maintain our relationships, we should have full trust. At the same time, when problem comes, when some misunderstandings are there, we should go and clarify things rather than making a whole story in our mind. Just go and clarify situations. That will save relationships. Duryodhan, he got up. He said, oh, now he was, trying to create dissension between the Pandavas. He said, oh, lady, Kauravas are very merciful. They can't see your distress. So now let Yudhishthir tell. Just if Yudhishthir, he just tells that he lost his virtue and he gambled you and other brothers, we will free you. So Duryodhana was trying to create, ill feelings among Pandavas. When we are on the path of virtue and dharma, on the path of Krishna consciousness, on the path of bhakti, we are trying to, leave apart our other material things, trying to come close to Krishna, come close to God. We start chanting also, we start following principles seriously, we try to, move along with the devotees. First thing, which happens is our previous friends, they start disliking these things. Because nobody likes, very few people, they like spiritual life. And then if something wrong happens to us, then they will come and they will question our belief system. What happened to you? You are following the path of dharma, of God, but still why all this wrong is happening to you? How we respond in those situations determine our convictions, shows our convictions. How we understand scriptures, that will make our convictions strong. So therefore, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, they are very, very important to make our convictions strong. And it is very much needed to develop a sound philosophical understanding. We should not be sentimental and good weather devotees. Oh, things are going good, my life is going on nicely, I am going to temple also, things are good. But when things go wrong, then we start question, oh, why this is happening to me? So therefore, we have to have a very strong conviction. Bhima, he got up. He said, Yudhishthir was our master when we entered this assembly, and he will always be our master. Yudhishthir, He is always on the path of virtue. Who could escape? He raised his hand, he said, who could escape my most powerful hands after touching Draupadi? The fact that you all are surviving, because that the fact, this shows that Yudhishthir is virtuous, and just because he is silent, I am just leaving all of you. Therefore, Duryodhan, when he heard this, he saw that his plan is getting spoiled. Bhima, he was actually torn between anger and virtue, and he wanted to incite Bhima more. Duryodhan wanted to incite Bhima more. He uncovered his thigh, slapped it, and told Draupadi, "Oh Draupadi, come, sit here." And he said, "Sit on the lap of your new husband, new lord. Leave those paupers; they are beggars now. You come and sit here." Bhima, he could not tolerate this. He got up. He started shouting loudly. He said, "Oh wretch, today I take a vow. I will break this thigh into pieces." He was burning with anger. Seeing the anger of Bhima, all the elders, they also became very fearful. Bhishma, Drona, Kripacharya, they started pacifying Bhima. "Oh Bhima, please calm down. Things will go all well." Karna, he got up. We can see Karna again and again. He's just doing all this just to please Duryodhan. He says that it seems that elders in this assembly, they are bent on being partial towards Pandavas. They are showing injustice towards Duryodhan. And Vidura, he got up. He said, "O king," he told Dhritarashtra, "O king," and he told all the elders, "please decide. If we don't answer these questions of Draupadi, our whole dynasty will be destroyed." He tells a story of a king. Uh, he tells that there was once the grandson of Prahlad Maharaj. His name was Virochan. So he was in love with one lady, and there was one other sage's son. His name was Sudhanva. He was the son of Angira Rishi. He also wanted to marry the same lady. Both of them went to Prahlad asking for justice. And Prahlad, he was silent. Sudhanva, he told Prahlad that, "Oh Prahlad, oh great king, please speak. If you don't give judgment, then you will be responsible. You will be punished by the law of karma. The After death, Varuna will come and he will bind you by his snake noose." And then Prahlad, he said, "Oh Sudhanva, your claim is right. Actually, you are just like your father is superior to me, you are superior to my son. So therefore, you should marry this lady." So Vidura, he told this story, and he said that if we don't answer the question of Draupadi, we will be responsible. And then he says that I will give my verdict. He says, according to me, because Yudhishthir lost himself first, therefore Draupadi is not lost. Karna, he said that this lady, this Draupadi, she is always the property of the Yudhishthir, because women is always under the care of the husband. And if the husband becomes the slave, then the wife becomes the property of the person who owns that slave. So therefore, Duryodhan is the master of Draupadi. Duryodhan, he spoke very slyly. He said, "Now it is up to the Pandavas and Draupadi to decide, and we will accept it. Whatever you all decide, we will accept it." Arjuna, he got up and said, "O Yudhishthir, oh Duryodhan, When we entered this assembly, Yudhishthir was our master. But please tell me, who was his master when he was called for gambling match? So actually, Arjuna wanted to, just put the whole ball, whole game. He wanted to put the ball in, Duryodhan's court, and he was telling that actually your father is responsible. So why should we decide? Why should Draupadi decide? You all should decide. As all these things were going on, suddenly Dhritarashtra he heard jackals howling in the sacrificial chamber, and asses started braying, the inauspicious birds started screeching, inauspicious omens appeared in the sky. Vidura he said, O king, things have gone far now. If you don't stop, your whole dynasty will be destroyed. Dhritarashtra, he was such a person that he could not be pacified with logic. But when he saw all these supernatural things, first of all, Draupadi was saved in such an extraordinary way, and then all these inauspicious omens they were appearing. He became really alarmed, and then he thought, now I have to do something. He told Duryodhan, he said, "Oh wicked Duryodhan, because of all your evil desires, you will destroy the entire dynasty. You know, please stop." Then he turned to Draupadi. He said, "Oh Draupadi, it is so very wonderful that in spite of all the wrong things which have been done to you, you are still, sticking to the dharma." He said, "You are foremost of all my daughter-in-laws. You are most virtuous, most glorious." He said, "I arranged this gambling match just to see the relative strength of Kauravas and the Pandavas. I did not want to do all this. Therefore, please forgive me for any hard words. Please forgive, Duryodhan and the Kauravas whatever they have done." And then he says, please ask for some benediction. When we deal with people who are obsessed with desire for position, respect, name, fame, we have to be really careful, because they may change at every moment just to suit their purpose. So Draupadi, she knew that Dhritarashtra is not, having a transformation. He is not having a change of heart. No, he is doing just because now he's seeing the destruction. Out of fear, he is saying all this. So Draupadi, she says, "Oh father, let my son Mitravinda, not be called as a son of a slave. Please free Yudhishthir Maharaj." Dhritarashtra says, "Agreed, so be it. Ask something more." Draupadi says, "Please relieve all my other husbands along with their chariots." Dhritarashtra said, "So okay, done. Ask something more." Draupadi says, still, even in this situation, she sticks to the path of virtue. She says, a Brahmani can ask for 3 benedictions, but a Shatrani, the wife of a Kshatriya, can ask for only 2 benedictions. So I don't want anything else. Dhritarashtra he praised Draupadi and he said, "I am so very happy with you. I give back your entire kingdom." So when Duryodhan he heard this, he was shocked. It was a nightmare for Kauravas. It was like, all the work which they did, it was undone by Dhritarashtra. But Dhritarashtra, he was in just, you know, trying to patch up the whole thing. He was in, just condition where he wanted to just do something to save the situation. Duryodhan, he was shocked, but still he thought, at least We could do something to trouble, to hurt these Pandavas more. So he signaled Karna, and Karna, he said, just see these great five Pandavas. They are saved by a woman. They were drowning in the ocean of distress and they took shelter of a boat of a woman to come out of it. And Bhima, he again became so very angry hearing all these words. Arjuna tried to pacify Bhima. He said, "Oh Bhima, oh brother, don't people who are wise, they don't pay heed to the provocative words of the sinful people, of those who are small minded. This is very much needed to live sanely in this world, you know, because in this world, people they are ready to throw all the bad words, speak all the insults, as it is said by Winston Churchill. He said, you will never reach your destination if you stop and throw stones at every dog which barks. So, therefore, we should be very much focused on the goal. Wise, do not just start replying back each and every thing which other people says. So, therefore, people will say something, whatever you do, people will say something. There's a nice story about it. One time there was a person selling fishes in the fish market, and he had put a board on his shop, fresh fishes sold here. So one person came and said, oh, we can see that you are selling fresh fishes. So why you have put this board? So remove fresh. So he removed the fresh and then it was written fishes sold here. Other person came and said, you are sitting in a fish market, right? What will you sell? You will sell fishes only. Why have you written fishes sold here? Removed fish also. Sold here. Another person came. He said, you are sitting in a market. You will sit here only to sell things. So what is the use of writing this? Sold was also removed. Then here. Other person came and said, okay, you are everybody knows you are sitting here. So what is the use of all this writing here? Board was empty. Other person came and said, the board is empty, write something. So therefore, when we have embarked on the journey of spiritual life, many people will come and give hundreds of suggestions. They will tell, oh, I think you are becoming too serious. Okay, this is good, but we have to take care of our material things also very nicely. Don't go deep into it. We have to be focused on our goal. Keep taking guidance from right type of people. You know. Therefore, Arjuna tells that please be pacified. Don't just pay heed to whatever words this wicked, Karna is saying. But still, Bhima was not pacified. Now Yudhishthir Maharaj said, "Oh brother, please be peaceful." And he tried his best, somehow pacified Bhima. Then he went in front of Dhritarashtra. He said, "Oh father, oh lord, oh king, please tell us what we should do." Dhritarashtra, he was in damage control mode. He said, "Oh Yudhishthir, you are such a virtuous soul. You are dharma personified. You are ready to serve your elders. Virtue resides in you. Strength resides in Bhima. Patience resides in Arjuna. And the respect and awe and reverence for elders reside in the twins, Nakul and Sahadev." He started glorifying everybody. He said, whatever evil deeds are performed by Duryodhan, please forgive and forget them. So actually, Yudhishthir, he agreed to whatever Dhritarashtra said, and offering their respects, Pandavas departed. So in this incidents, Draupadi demonstrates her extraordinary, you know, devotion, extraordinary chastity, intelligence, and the virtue which is shown by Draupadi is unparalleled here. Therefore, this incident which happened, this demonstrates how Krishna is the ultimate savior, and Draupadi, she comes out as a heroine here who shows the world how eager, how desperate we should be to take shelter of Krishna. But ultimately, Dhritarashtra, because of his weak-mindedness, again he fell to the words of Duryodhan, called back Pandavas again for a gambling match, and they ultimately lost everything. They were exiled. And during exile, before they were going to exile, Draupadi promised Kunti that she will serve her husbands and especially the twin brothers Nakula and Sahadev. Even in the forest, she was doing her best to serve the elders. Krishna came and he met with Pandavas and Draupadi in Kamyavan. Draupadi, she asked Krishna, "Oh Krishna, you are my lord. How is it that I was humiliated in such a way in the assembly?" And she said, "Actually, I deserved protection because of four reasons," she said. Because of our relationship, because of our friendship, because I have accepted you as my Lord, and because of the respect I bear for you. You should have protected me personally. Yeah. So therefore, in our spiritual life, we may get doubts about the process, but better to clarify those doubts. Just like Draupadi, she is also thinking why I was treated like this. So, and she's asking Krishna, when we ask our queries, we should do it in a humble, submissive way, eager to understand the philosophy why this happened. As it is said in Bhagavad Gita, for a doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. Agyascha ashraddhanascha samshayatma vinashyati nayam loko asti na paro na sukham samshayatmanah. For a doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. So therefore, we have to humbly, put our questions. We should be eager to understand what is this process, how these things are happening in my life. So when Krishna, Draupadi, she asked Krishna, he consoled her, and he said, "You'll be the queen of the kings, O Draupadi. Don't worry. It is my vow. I promise that my devotees will never be destroyed." And he said so many things just to pacify Draupadi. So ultimately, Draupadi was pacified, and she was happy just having darshan of Krishna. And then Krishna departed. In exile, she lived with uh, such austere situations, but still she kept serving her husbands very nicely. And then ultimately Arjuna went to do tapasya. She was, again very sad. Bhima, he would just try to please Draupadi by providing whatever she said. And then one day Jayadratha came. Jayadratha, he was the husband of Dushala. Dushala is the only sister of 100 Kauravas. So Jayadratha, he always wanted to marry. He also wanted to marry Draupadi in Swayamvar. And now, seeing the opportune situation, he came and he started speaking very lustily to Draupadi. Draupadi, she said, "Look, a lady should not talk to any other man uh, alone, but because there is nobody, I'll answer your questions." And then she started, answering whatever the Jayadratha was speaking. But after some time, Jayadratha started making unwarranted advances. And Draupadi, she warned him, "You don't know my husbands. They will kill you." Well, Jayadratha thought, oh, she is just a very fiery lady speaking so many words. He grabbed her, put her on his chariot. And one of the servants of Draupadi, she tried to, just help Draupadi, but she could not do anything. She went, and informed Pandavas who were nearby only. Pandavas, they came running. And when this Jayadratha, he saw five very, very powerful warriors coming towards him, he was surprised. He asked, "Who are they?" He asked Draupadi, "Who are they?" So Draupadi, she laughs. She says, "After courting death, what is the use of asking this question?" But still, she says, "Okay, a dying man's request should be fulfilled, so I'll tell you who they are." She's because she was confident of the protection by her husbands. She says, "Can you see that fair, handsome, powerful personality? He's Yudhishthir. And you can see that very strongly built person biting his lips in anger. His eyebrows are furrowed, and he has a mace in his hand. He is Bhima. And can you see that person holding a Gandiva, very huge bow, very powerful, whose complexion is dark? He is Arjuna. He never, just loses his target. He's the greatest archer. Can you see that personality who is a personification of handsomeness? That is Nakul. And that personality who is holding the sword in his hand, he's Sahadev. Actually, Jayadratha, he could not identify the Pandavas because he had seen them many times, but still he could not identify because Pandavas, they were in ascetic clothes and they were not properly, groomed their hair. So he could not recognize them. So realizing that Pandavas are coming, he thought, now I cannot, take Draupadi. He just pushed Draupadi off his chariot, and he started running. Draupadi, Yudhishthir came to just console Draupadi. Draupadi, she told Bhima and Arjun, "You go and kill this person. Anybody who tries to disrespect a women should be killed. Do not spare him." So Bhima and Arjuna, they ran, and Arjuna very easily captured Jayadratha, and Bhima was about to kill him. But somehow, Arjuna pacified him, arrested Jayadratha, brought him back. And when Draupadi, she saw, this Jayadratha arrested, she remembered Dushala. And out of her, genuine compassion, she just told them, "Okay, you please free Jayadratha. I don't want him to be killed." And in this way, Draupadi, she had to undergo so many things in her exile. And then Kichaka came when they were in Agyatavas. Kichak was a personality. He was the brother of the wife of Virat king. And he became lusty after Draupadi. And then again, she was saved by Bhima. And in this way, throughout the Agyatavas, she suffered a lot. And then after that, the whole battle was there arranged. And then in the battle, she had to see so many of her sons being killed. Abhimanyu was killed. And then even after the battle, she saw the brutal murder of her five sons. But still, when Ashwatthama, he was caught and presented in front of her, again, her compassion came out. Somebody may say, "Oh, this lady, Draupadi, she's like a sentimental lady, you know, that's why she is just telling, okay, release Ashwatthama." No, she gives very nice logical reasons. She tells, this Ashwatthama, he is a Brahman. We should not kill a Brahman. He is our teacher, Dharma. Then she says, in the quality of Nyaya, he says, "Oh, by Dronacharya's mercy, you have learned all this military skills and now you are killing his own son. This is not good." Then she says, and actually, if you kill Ashwatthama, his mother will suffer the same way I am suffering. So please don't kill him. And then she says, actually, we should not be duplicitous. It is not good for a Kshatriya to disrespect a Brahmana. So, therefore, we have to understand the women in the Vedic times, they were much more learned, much more experienced than even the scholars of today's age. People they say that, oh, women were mistreated in the past, they were not given education, but it is shown by all the wonderful ladies of the scriptures of the Vedic times that they were very scholar, knowers of dharma, knowers of scriptures, and therefore they had all the powers, all the rights. So Draupadi, by her example, she is showing again and again, she has shown how we should respond to vice with virtue. She was always devoted lady, always a dharmic lady. And there is one more wonderful side of Draupadi, which comes when Durvasa comes. Pandavas were in Agyat, they were in Vanvas, and Duryodhan he sends Durvasa Muni. Draupadi, she had received a vessel which was called as Akshay Patra, and this Akshay Patra would give food for all the Pandavas and all the sages, unlimited quantity of food. Till the time Draupadi does not eat, it would keep giving. So Duryodhan very expertly he manipulated Durvasa Muni and told him that you go after such and such time, because by that time Draupadi is she eats her food. And then when Durvasa he came, there was nothing, and he came with 60,000 of his disciples. And Pandavas were confused because they knew that Durvasa he is known to become angry very short, in very small things he would become angry. So they were completely worried. So then Yudhishthir he thought maybe we should do something. So he said, oh great sage, you go and take bath in the river nearby, and by the time you come we'll prepare some food for you. So all the 60,000 disciples and Durvasa Muni they went, and Pandavas were thinking what to do now. And as they were thinking, Draupadi was praying to the Lord. So this shows the wonderful dependence of Draupadi on Krishna. And that is the spirit of a devotee. That is the attitude of a devotee. In any of the circumstances, we should depend on Krishna. So she was praying to Krishna, please help. And then Krishna appeared there. And Krishna, already Pandavas were disturbed, thinking that how we will feed the Brahmanas. Krishna comes and says, oh Draupadi, I am hungry. Do you have something? So Pandavas and Draupadi, they became more sad when they heard this request from Krishna because they had nothing. Draupadi begged. She told Krishna, oh Krishna, I just finished eating. I have nothing to give now. Krishna says, there must be something. She said, no, I have washed the vessel. Nothing is there. He said, bring that pot. And Draupadi brought that pot, and there was one grain of rice stuck. And Krishna took that, and all the sages, Durvasa Muni, they were completely full. And that's how Krishna saved this Pandavas and Draupadi. This shows that if we offer Krishna with love and devotion, then he can take care of any of the things. Yeah, so this shows the wonderful devotion of Draupadi. Even after Pandavas they became the king, Draupadi became the queen, and Dhritarashtra and Gandhari they were staying in the palace. She was not thinking, oh, you are the one who, you know, didn't say anything when I was disrobed. I will do the needful now. No, she was serving Dhritarashtra, serving Gandhari very nicely. And that is such is the life of Draupadi. And then Mahabharata describes that, after Krishna departed and all the Pandavas were going in the Mahaprasthanaik Parva, Draupadi was the first to fall. And it is described by some people that because Draupadi, she had more affection for Arjuna, that's why she fell first. But actually, it was natural for her to have more affection for Arjuna because Arjuna had won her hand. Therefore, when these things are spoken, this is just symbolic to even discern the small faults that might check our journey. We should not take those things and make them a big issue. Ultimately, Draupadi and Pandavas, they attain the spiritual world. So therefore, Krishna, this Draupadi, she is such a celebrated, chaste lady, and she is a very wonderful example of a chaste woman and a exalted devotee. So this is the life of Draupadi. So we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So if there are any questions, you can please ask or put on the chat. Okay, why did Draupadi tell Krishna that I was calling to you and you didn't come initially? So actually, she was saying that in spite of you being my lord, why I had to go through all that embarrassment? You know, why you made me enter all this situation? You could have avoided this situation. You could have just, dissolved all that situation. But still, you made me go through all that. And that's why she was asking this question: that why you didn't come early and solve the problem? Why I had to go through all these things? But actually, there's one story which I forgot to tell, that once Krishna, he went to Indraprasth, and Krishna was taking care of some things in the kitchen, and he was cutting fruits, so his hand got cut. So Draupadi, when she saw, she immediately tore apart her sari, very costly silk sari, and put banded on Krishna's finger. Krishna, he said, I will repay you for this in future. That's Krishna. Even if you do something little for Lord, Lord is such a wonderful personality. He exaggerates, magnifies whatever a devotee does. So therefore, there is a verse which says, "Kinchit karotyuru api yat swadattam surit kritam falgu api bhurikari mayopanitam pritukaika mushtim pratyagrahita priti yuto mahatma." Sudama is telling this verse. Sudama, he brought just few handfuls of chipped rice, and when he returned, he saw that there is a whole palace which is made for him. So he is so very grateful to Krishna. He did not want all that, but still Krishna gave him. So he is so very grateful to Krishna. He's saying, just see the wonderful, magnanimous nature of the Lord. If the devotee gives a little bit, Krishna thinks, oh, my devotee has given such a big thing for me. What can we give to the Lord? Everything belongs to Him only. But if he does something big, he thinks, oh, I could not give much to my devotee. So Draupadi she just put a small band-aid on Krishna's finger, and in response, Krishna, he saved the chastity, saved the honor of Draupadi. That is the wonderful Lord. So therefore, there is no doubt that if we'll turn to spiritual life, we'll turn towards Krishna, then will we be saved? Will we be protected? For sure, we will be protected. Okay. So that's what is the story. Any other questions anybody has? Or we'll stop here. Yeah, and we discussed last time that actually when Duryodhana, so the question is, did Draupadi actually humiliate Duryodhan? That's why this disrobing happened. No, actually, when Duryodhan he fell down in water, it is actually natural, right? If you see somebody, mistaking water as a surface and falls down in that, so naturally anybody will, have some laugh. So Draupadi, she also smiled. It was natural. It was innocent. And when people say, "Oh, Draupadi, she, humiliated Duryodhan by saying, 'Oh, andhe ka beta andha hai,' father is blind, so son is also blind." No, Vyasdev does not say like this. Draupadi is a very cultured, very sensitive lady, and she could not say this, all these words. But Duryodhan, he felt insulted. He could not take this, and he started planning all that. Okay, and that's why he just took all the revenge. So I think there are no questions, so
Thank
we'll stop here.
thank you,
Thank you
Prabhuji.
very
Thank
much.
you very
Hare
much for
Krishna.
an amazing session. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Great.